This is SoCal Talk. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? Yay. All right. Well, last night was the recall election. If you guys aren't aware of right now, the status quo stayed the same. And what did I say? Hmm? What did I say? People already know. Most people already know. People who are aware already know what's going to happen. All right. Gavin retained his throne. Larry Elder lost. All right. And I told everyone that Gavin Newsom's gonna, gonna set things up very hard. All right. Now, when I went to vote, I told myself I'm not gonna go out and vote. But I figured, with a last ditch effort, I thought, there's some hope in the election. I had a little bit hope of what's left, of hope in our election system, but I was wrong, right? I was wrong again. All right, I thought if I wouldn't vote, I thought, Larry Elder could have got an extra vote if I could be the remaining factor from his victory. But what do you know? He lost. It turns out what 500. Gavin got 5 million votes, and Larry got 3 million, roughly estimating. And it's bitter. I know I'm bitter right now. I want Gavin out of there because I feel like he doesn't do a good enough job of running the state of California. And look what happened. He won. I guess Californians are that deranged, delusional. I said in one of my videos that California voters are really unreliable. If the election isn't RIGGED, then the California voter is really unreliable. They're unreliable. The people who vote for more taxes, the people who vote for oppression, the same people who think that politicians have their best interests at hand. All right, that's the California voters. They live in delusional land, right? They live in la la land. All right, California is a dream of disasters, of nightmare proportion, of magnitude proportions. All right, that's what California is. It's a big nightmare. California is done. Stick a fork in it, all right? There's no way of going to save California with a super majority like the Democratic Party, all right? There's no way of saving California. There's no hope. This is why I feel like the only way to escape this tyranny in the state is to leave the state. And, you can't, I have this idea that you can't make changes if everybody start leaving, right? Somebody told me that. Like, people of conservative philosophy, all right, you can't change the state if you keep moving, or else the state will stay the same. But at this point, I had it. The only way for people to understand and for people to learn is by suffering. The only way for the Democrat to learn is by suffering, right? That's what it is. I mean, some Democrats learn about this because this was a bipartisan recall. They want to call it a Republican recall, but not really, because Democrat also signed this recall, right? But the only way, back to what I was saying, the only way for Democrat to learn is by suffering. You know that the what's that? What'd you call it? The metaphor or whatever it is, the analogy that a kid won't learn until a kid won't learn. Okay, you leave a hot stove on, and you tell a kid that he won't learn. You tell a kid that it's hot, and you're still gonna touch it. All right, that analogy. Well, that's the way I feel about Californian voters here. Right, they won't learn until they suffer. All right, until they touch that hot stove, then they probably realize how terrible it is to be doing that, to be doing the same thing over and over. All right, they won't learn. California, they're really stubborn. They live in delusion. California is the most narcissistic people out there. All right, narcissistic people out there. It's all about them. Okay, they don't see anything, especially the liberals, the Democrats, even more narcissistic than ever. All right, they can never be wrong. All right, just because they got their school and higher education, they think they're never wrong at all times. Right? Just let me tell you something, buddy. Just because you go to your fancy institution doesn't make you the smartest people out there. Doesn't make you better than anybody else. Right? That's how California are. They think just because they've been institutionalized for years and years and years, got their doctorate degree, they think they're better than everyone. All right, these are the type of people, smug people. All right, from Los Angeles to San Francisco, California, very smug. And take from me, a Californian, and I'm saying this right now. Right, I'm willing to admit it. No, most Californians aren't willing to admit it. It's because they're so hubris in their of where they're from. All right, where you come from does not define who you are. It doesn't make any sense. That's how California are. And this is the reason why California would continue to suffer. California would continue to burn by voting all these lousy politicians in office. They don't understand these politicians don't have the best interests. Okay, look through the campaign. Gavin Newsom was more focused on Larry Elder than he is with Californians. And you know what's gonna happen? It's gonna lead to a permanent mask mandate. Not only that, a permanent, jab mandate as well. And they don't understand that. The California government is being sued left to right. All right? And I have a suspicion that there's some crazy things going on right now in California. All right? There's been reporting that people been cast to vote when they show up to vote, that they told them they already been voted. Right? Some fishy going on like that. Some ballot harvesting. All right? Because of that, what? You can't raise any eyebrows about what's going on? It doesn't make any sense. California is delusional. It is gone off the rail. You don't know where it's going to go now, maybe down to the pit of hell. All right? California is pathetic right now. All right? It's pathetic. This state is done. Rolling brownouts, all right? Water droughts everywhere. Don't know how to conserve water. All right? This wasn't an issue back then. Now it suddenly became an issue. All right? Of all the history of California, this became an issue today. They try to push their global climate change agenda. The BS, if you fall for it, all right? They try to say, "Oh, you're a science denier." I'm not a science denier. You're a science manipulator. All right, that's where it is. These people don't understand that science can be manipulated and bought by the corporations. All right, that's what fund Gavin Newsom campaign, the corporations. All right, and that's what fund the Democratic Party, the corporations, and try to push science denying. There's no such thing as science denying. It's science manipulations. All right, they manipulate the data to fit in their best interest. If you aren't aware of that, scientists are people. They have interests that sway their opinion. All right, people don't understand that. Human beings are able to be corrupt. People are able to be corrupt. That's including scientists, doctors, lawyers, and politicians like the California politician right now, Gavin Newsom. All right, he's not infallible. He's prone to corruption. All right, look at all the people he's tied with. All right, and you think that's going to lead to the survival of the state? The great state of California is dying right now. Right? They're so delusional. They're conditioned to see what they're seeing right now as normal. Homeless, dirty streets, right? Water droughts, rolling blackouts. They're conditioned that is normal. That's why it doesn't faze them at all. Right? It doesn't faze them at all, and that they don't consider that. They're conditioned to high gas prices. When you travel outside of the state of California, gas is cheaper than the state of California. And it doesn't make any sense at all. And they keep voting for this policy. It's ridiculous. California, especially you Californians, right? I'm a Californian, right? I'm willing to admit it. This state is going down the pit of hell right now. This state is done. Stick a fork in it. There's no way of saving it, all right? I would love to believe in this idea that conservatives should stay in the state and fight for what's right and change it to herself. But at this point, there's no way of changing it. It's too much. The rigging is too prevalent, all right? The rigging is too prevalent, right? There's too much indoctrinated people. There's too much liberal over here. They have to eat. They got to eat each other, man. They got to eat each other. These liberals, they can eat each other. Once all the conservative leave and independent leave, the liberals gonna fight among itself for them to understand that what they're doing is wrong, right? It's so hard for a liberal to learn from their mistakes. That's what they don't understand. They can't identify what is wrong in their face, all right? Liberals are delusional. It's like Michael Savage said. All right, liberalism is a mental disease, a mental disorder, and they're not seeing it. It's like people who's conservative. It's like in the movie They Live, right? They Live. We have the sunglasses. We see all the things wrong with their idea, their policy, and they're the one that's sleeping right now. They're still the sheeps right now. They still refuse to believe or refuse to admit fault. All right, I have no problem admitting fault if I'm wrong. But these liberals right now in California, these Democrats, for some reason, they aren't willing to admit fault at all. Even though, it's their pride is getting away. They're hubris. They're not willing to admit that they're infallible. That they're sometimes they make mistakes. They're not willing to admit that. There's nothing wrong with that, to admit fault, and it's not a big deal to admit fault. For some reason, they don't want to admit fault because it, I guess, changed the narrative or come back. I don't know, man. Come back at them or something like that. But these people are what's wrong, what's damaging the state, right? Aside from the constant rigging of the elections, that's what I gotta get in my chest. I knew this from the start. I told you guys that you can't depend on the California voters, and I told you guys that Gavin's gonna win. And I told you guys time after time after time after time, right? Larry Elders, he did okay. His campaign wasn't that bad, right? He did all the stuff that you would think a regular campaign would do. Show evidence, point out the flaws in the opponents, all right? You know, the typical thing in politicians. You know, Larry Elders wasn't a politician. He was a pundit turned politician. So I guess he get a pass because he's not a conventional politician. He don't, you know, he don't survive in politics. He's just a commentator. But anyway, besides the point, right? The state is done. It's over. It's over. I guess I have to move out of the state. I give myself by the end of this year to see what's developing up, because when Larry Elder came out and well, he didn't actually concede it. He just told people, you know, to stay tuned. So I'm guessing something will develop. It's too soon. It is the first day of this. It's aftermath, of the aftermath, right? So it's still Tuesday. So something might develop over time. I hope some good news, right? But at this point, it looks very bleak right now in the state of California. It does not look good at all. And the way it's going, I think I have to get out of this state just to have a normalcy in my life, because I'm not gonna deal with these mandates. I'm not gonna deal with bullying from the government. I'm not gonna deal with this mandatory jab. I'm not gonna deal with it. All right, I'm gonna exit society. Basically, I'm telling you guys, I'm exit society. I'm not gonna have a conventional job. I'm gonna open a business. Screw that. I'm not gonna follow just because you have to have. If you want a job, you have to get these things. No, I'm not gonna do that. I will not. I refuse to. All right. If family get mad at me, let them get mad. All right. I don't care at this moment, because this is your health, your life. You can't let anybody tell you what to do, what you put in your body, what you can't put in your body. All right. That's what it is. Well, that's what it's come down to. Personal choice. And if you prevent people from having choices, that's the antithesis of freedom right there. Lack of choice. Choice is all about freedom. And that's when I have to draw the line. Put my feet down, draw the line. Hey, you cannot take my choices away. All right? Because this country is founded on freedom and choices of what to do. All right? Freedom of speech. People like to say, this is one thing these Democrats like to say, right? They like to say you can't have freedom. You don't have any voice of freedom because, especially Biden, he said, because you can't yell fire in the crowd theater. In actuality, you can. All right, you can shout out fire in the crowded theater. It's the intent that you put it. It's how you say it that get you in trouble, that make you liable, right? If you say fire in a crowded theater and there's actual fire, and you say fire and you have intent to save people's lives or intent to circumvent a tragedy, you can't say that. But if it's for ill intent, yes, you can get prosecuted. So you can, in actuality, you can say it. if it had probable causes to say it. And these Democrats, they love to use that claim that you do not have total freedom. Yes, you do. It's whether how you use that. All right, it's whether how you say it, and whether it's ill intent or good intent. All right, and you know who I learned this from? Adam Dershowitz, a Democrat. All right, so miss me with all that. You do not have entire freedom. Yes, you do. You do not have total free speech. Yes, you do. You do have total free speech, and they don't like to put that. All right, these are the stuff that lawyers learn that common people don't understand. Common people think that you do not have entire free speech. Free speech is come within the Constitution. It's within the guidelines, and they don't understand that. But I digress. I'll save that for another show for you guys to understand, like how to discern how to take down these Democrats. All right, let's say that. But right now, California's done. All right, it's over. It's no loss. But I really hope there's a turning point in California. All right. But if you guys feel like I'm wrong, if you guys feel like I'm missing something, if you guys feel like that there is hope, just leave a comment below. I'm open to ideas. I'm open-minded. Right. I'm free to accept any ideas. Right. Like a traditional liberal would be. Right? That's what liberals are supposed to be. Open-minded to different opinions. All right? Now they just close minds to only their thought and ideology. They totally changed the definition of liberalism. But anyway, I'm open-minded to whatever you guys say. If you make valid points, I agree. I'll admit fault. All right? There's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, leave your opinion below. If you like my video, like the video. If you dislike my video, dislike my video. If you want to hear what I have to say in the future, please subscribe. I would like to hear from you, and it doesn't hurt. But on that note, guys, let me know what you think. This is SoCal Talk, and thanks for listening. Peace.